The Almanack of Naval Ravikant offers timeless wisdom on building wealth, achieving happiness, and living a life of purpose, blending practical strategies with profound insights to help you think clearly and make intentional choices in work and life. We'll cover the whole book, chapter by chapter, in just a few minutes. Chapter 1. Understand how wealth is created. To start, let's clarify what wealth really means. The author makes a key distinction here. Wealth is not the same as money. Money is a tool used to transfer value, but wealth is about owning assets that work for you, things like businesses, real estate, or investments that earn while you sleep. Think of wealth as the engine and money as the fuel. The engine keeps running even if you don't directly intervene. A crucial aspect of creating wealth is leverage. Leverage amplifies your efforts, allowing you to achieve results far beyond what you could do alone. Technology, media, and capital are powerful examples of leverage. For instance, a well-coded software program or a popular YouTube channel can serve millions of people at once with minimal additional effort. The author explains that true wealth comes from owning equity, being a part owner of businesses or ventures that can scale. He famously said, "You're not going to get rich renting out your time." Trading time for money is inherently limited because there are only so many hours in a day. Instead, scalable solutions, like products or intellectual property, can multiply your efforts exponentially. So, how do we apply this in our lives? First, look for ways to own equity. You might consider starting your own business, investing in companies, or contributing specialized skills to a startup in exchange for ownership. Second, focus on opportunities that scale. For example, an online course or app can reach a global audience without additional cost for every new user. Lastly, study industries like technology or media, where leverage is a key driver of success. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 2. Find and build specific knowledge. Moving on, let's explore what the author calls specific knowledge. This isn't something you can simply learn in a classroom or from a standard curriculum. Instead, specific knowledge is deeply personal. It's the kind of expertise or skill set you develop by following your natural curiosity and passions. It's unique to you and often feels like play, while others might see it as hard work. Specific knowledge gives you a competitive edge because it's difficult to automate or replace. For example, a creative artist, a brilliant coder, or a compelling storyteller all bring unique value that can't easily be replicated by others. The author highlights that this type of knowledge is often gained through experience, experimentation, and sometimes even failure, rather than formal education. He reminds us to pursue your genuine curiosity and passion, rather than whatever is hot right now. Trends come and go, but your authentic interests are enduring and can lead to mastery in areas that feel natural to you. A second key takeaway here is to play long-term games with long-term people. We'll revisit this idea shortly, but for now, know that working with people who align with your values and goals is essential for success. What's actionable here? Start by reflecting on your unique strengths and passions. What do you enjoy doing that others might find challenging? Focus on building expertise in these areas. Also, resist the temptation to chase trends simply because they seem lucrative. Instead, invest your time and energy into developing skills that align with your authentic interests. Chapter 3. Play long-term games with long-term people. Let's talk about relationships and their role in success. The author introduces a powerful concept: playing long-term games with long-term people. In life, whether we're talking about business, personal relationships, or community building, trust and integrity are foundational. Long-term relationships with trustworthy people create compounding value, just like compound interest in finance. The author explains that the benefits of life, wealth, knowledge, and meaningful relationships are all amplified over time. Building trust takes years, but the returns are extraordinary. He says, play iterated games. All the returns in life, whether in wealth, relationships, or knowledge, come from compound interest. To apply this, first, Invest in relationships with people who share your values and long-term vision. These could be business partners, mentors, or close friends. Second, avoid focusing on short-term, one-off interactions that lack depth or alignment. Lastly, constantly evaluate your relationships based on mutual respect and shared principles. Are you both growing from the connection? If so, it's worth nurturing. Chapter 4. Take on accountability. Accountability is a cornerstone of success. The author emphasizes that taking responsibility for outcomes not only builds trust, but also sets you apart as a reliable and influential individual. Think about it. People are naturally drawn to those who take ownership of their actions and results, especially when things don't go as planned. This kind of accountability creates opportunities for growth and rewards that are often inaccessible to those who avoid responsibility. But accountability isn't easy. It requires courage. It means putting your name on your work and standing by your decisions, even when the stakes are high. As the author puts it, embrace accountability and take business risks under your own name. By doing this, you position yourself as someone who isn't afraid to lead, which naturally earns you trust, equity, and influence in society. What does this look like in practice? First, accept responsibility for both your successes and failures. When something goes wrong, own it and use it as a learning experience. Second, don't shy away from calculated risks. Whether it's launching a new project or taking on a challenging role, these risks demonstrate your value and confidence. Finally, resist the urge to avoid accountability when the stakes feel overwhelming. Remember, that's where the growth happens. Chapter 5. Build or buy equity in a business. Now let's talk about equity. The author makes a powerful case for why ownership is the key to building true wealth. Unlike working for wages, which ties your earnings to the hours you put in, equity allows you to benefit from the success of a business without being constrained by time. The author explains it simply. You will never get rich renting out your time. Instead, owning even a small part of a successful business can open the door to exponential growth. Equity aligns incentives. It rewards contributors in proportion to the value they help create. Think about businesses that scale effectively, like technology companies. Their growth potential is enormous, and those who own equity in them reap the benefits of that expansion. It's not about doing more work, it's about owning a piece of something that grows. So how can you apply this? Start by looking for opportunities to acquire equity. This might mean investing in a company or offering your unique skills to a startup in exchange for partial ownership. Focus on scalable ventures, businesses that can grow without significant additional effort. Lastly, prioritize opportunities that align with your skills and long-term goals, ensuring that your contributions genuinely add value. Chapter 6. Find a position of leverage. Let's dive into leverage, one of the author's most transformative ideas. Leverage multiplies your efforts, allowing you to achieve results far greater than what you could accomplish alone. The author identifies 3 types of leverage: labor, capital, and what he calls permissionless leverage, which includes code and media. Labor is traditional leverage, delegating tasks to a team to extend your impact. Capital is financial leverage, where money works for you, such as through investments. But the real game changers today are code and media. Why? Because they allow infinite scaling without requiring permission from anyone. A single piece of software can serve millions, and a YouTube video can reach a global audience, both without additional effort on your part. The author puts it best. Leverage is a force multiplier for your judgment. To use leverage effectively, start by identifying where it fits into your life or business. Can you delegate repetitive tasks? Can you develop skills in coding or media production to scale your influence? Focus on activities that generate long-term value beyond your immediate effort. Chapter 7. Get paid for your judgment. The author makes a bold claim here. Superior judgment is more valuable than sheer hard work Why? Because good judgment allows you to make decisions that create disproportionate value. Think of it this way. Two people could put in the same amount of effort, but the one who consistently makes smarter decisions will achieve far better outcomes. The author points out that judgment is a skill, not an innate talent. It compounds over time, meaning that the more you practice and learn from your decisions, the better you get at making them. This is why he says, earn with your mind, not with your time. In other words, the ability to assess risks and opportunities effectively is what sets high achievers apart. How can we cultivate better judgment? Start by analyzing your past decisions. What worked, what didn't, and why. Seek feedback from mentors or trusted peers who can offer perspectives you might have missed. And most importantly, avoid impulsive decisions. The author emphasizes practicing patience and rationality because thoughtful decision-making often leads to the best results. Chapter 8. Prioritize and focus. Next, let's tackle the art of prioritization. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere, and multitasking can feel like the only way to keep up. But the author challenges this notion. He argues that success comes from ruthless prioritization and focusing on what truly matters. Multitasking, he warns, spreads your attention too thin and dilutes your effectiveness. The author underscores the power of focusing on one goal at a time, enabling deep work and mastery. He offers a simple yet profound piece of advice. If you can't decide, the answer is no. This highlights the importance of clarity. Knowing exactly what you want to achieve allows you to say no to everything that doesn't serve that goal. How do you put this into practice? Start by making a list of your top priorities, but only focus on the tasks with the highest value. Carve out uninterrupted time to work on these tasks, free from distractions like notifications or unnecessary meetings. Finally, periodically review your commitments to ensure they align with your long-term goals. If something no longer serves your purpose, it's time to let it go. Chapter 9. Find work that feels like play. Now let's discuss one of the most uplifting ideas in this section. Finding work that feels like play. The author suggests that the best kind of work is aligned with your natural interests and strengths. What feels effortless and enjoyable to you often feels like hard work to others, giving you a unique edge. When you love what you do, work becomes less of a chore and more of an expression of creativity. The author encourages us to escape competition through authenticity. When you pursue work that aligns with your true self, you're no longer competing on someone else's terms. Instead, you carve out a space where you excel naturally, and this creates long-term success and satisfaction. To apply this, start by reflecting on your passions. What activities make you lose track of time? Experiment with different roles or tasks to discover what feels most engaging, and, most importantly, stay authentic. Authenticity not only helps you stand out, but also keeps you motivated and inspired. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 10. How to get lucky. When we think about luck, it's easy to imagine it as something random or out of our control. But the author flips this idea on its head. He argues that luck can be cultivated, and the most powerful kind of luck is the one you create for yourself. This happens through preparation, taking action, and being persistent. The author famously says, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So, what does creating luck look like? It starts with positioning yourself in the right environments, places where opportunities are more likely to arise. For example, if you want to excel in a particular industry, attending relevant conferences, building relationships with experts, and staying informed can open unexpected doors. It's also about consistency. The author reminds us, you make your own luck by staying at the table for long enough. In other words, persistence increases the chances of being in the right place at the right time. Actionable steps include seeking out environments that align with your goals, taking consistent action to increase your visibility and value, and building a strong network of like-minded people who can introduce you to new opportunities. Remember, Luck doesn't just happen. It's a result of preparation and effort. Chapter 11. Be patient. Next, let's talk about patience. In today's fast-paced world, we often want instant results, whether it's in our careers, personal lives, or investments. But the author emphasizes that meaningful, long-term success requires patience. He explains that compounding results, whether in wealth, skills, or relationships, take time to manifest. Rushing often leads to poor decisions that can set us back. His advice is simple yet profound. Impatience with actions, patience with results. To understand this better, think of a farmer planting seeds. You can't rush the growth of crops, no matter how much effort you put in. What you can do is nurture the soil, water consistently, and trust the process. The same principle applies to our goals. The author encourages us to focus on long-term outcomes rather than short-term gratification. This shift in mindset helps us stay consistent and avoid unnecessary comparisons with others. To practice patience, focus on your unique journey and avoid measuring your progress against someone else's timeline. Stay consistent in your efforts, even when results seem far off, and trust that compounding effects will reward you over time. The author's mantra, "Play long-term games with long-term people," reminds us that enduring success is built on persistence and discipline. Chapter 12. Judgment. Let's explore judgment, a skill that the author believes is a cornerstone of success. Judgment isn't something you're born with. It's developed through experience, reflection, and learning from mistakes. The author defines good judgment as the ability to think rationally, assess risks clearly, and make decisions that lead to the best outcomes. He points out that better judgment means fewer regrets. One way to improve judgment is by critically analyzing your past decisions. What went well? What could have been done differently? Seeking feedback from trusted mentors or peers is another powerful way to refine your decision-making process. Diverse perspectives often reveal blind spots we might miss on our own. And perhaps most importantly, the author highlights the role of mindfulness in judgment. By staying calm and objective, we can avoid letting emotions cloud our decisions. In practice, judgment improves when we review past outcomes, challenge our assumptions, and surround ourselves with people who offer honest feedback. It takes courage, not just intelligence, to think clearly, as the author puts it. Over time, this clarity helps us make better decisions and, ultimately, achieve better results. Chapter 13. How to think clearly. Clear thinking is one of the most powerful tools we can develop, yet it's often clouded by noise, biases, and emotional distractions. The author emphasizes that clear thinking requires eliminating the unnecessary and focusing on the signal, the core truths that matter. He puts it simply, clarity is the ultimate path in life. So, how do we achieve this clarity? First, we must recognize the biases and emotions that influence our judgment. For example, fear can amplify risks, while overconfidence can blind us to potential pitfalls. The author advocates for structured thought processes and frameworks, like first principles thinking, to break down complex problems into their most fundamental components. By doing so, we can approach challenges logically and find straightforward solutions. To put this into action, practice mindfulness or meditation to quiet mental clutter and improve focus. Question your assumptions. Are they rooted in truth, or are they influenced by preconceived notions? The author reminds us, don't allow yourself to be swayed by emotional or irrelevant distractions. This discipline not only sharpens your thinking, but also leads to better decisions in all areas of life. Chapter 14. Shed your identity to see reality. Next, let's talk about identity and how it shapes the way we view the world. The author explains that fixed identities, whether they're personal labels or societal roles, can limit growth and cloud decision-making. When we cling too tightly to these labels, we risk biasing our perceptions and missing opportunities for growth. As the author says, the more you cling to your identity, the harder it becomes to grow beyond it. Letting go of rigid identities allows us to see reality more objectively. This doesn't mean abandoning who we are. It means being open to evolving and adapting as circumstances change. For example, someone who identifies solely as a finance professional might resist opportunities to explore creative pursuits, even if those pursuits could lead to personal growth or new successes. To shed limiting identities, start by reflecting on how your self identity might influence your decisions. Are there labels or roles that constrain your thinking? Challenge these assumptions and remain open to new perspectives. Embrace change as a natural and necessary part of life. The author captures this idea beautifully. Escape competition through authenticity, and you will find your true purpose. In other words, by focusing on your unique path, instead of fitting into predefined roles, you create space for real growth. Chapter 15. Learn the skills of decision making. Let's explore decision making, a skill that the author argues is one of the most important we can develop. Every choice we make shapes our future, and improving our decision making can lead to better outcomes in both the short and long term. The author reminds us, making decisions is the only thing you really have control over in life. Good decision making involves understanding the trade-offs and opportunity costs of each choice. The author suggests using mental models like cost-benefit analysis or probabilities to simplify and clarify complex decisions. For example, if you're deciding whether to invest in a new project, weighing the potential risks and rewards in terms of long-term impact can provide valuable clarity. To improve your decision-making, consider the long-term consequences of your actions, rather than focusing on immediate benefits. Practice making decisions quickly but thoughtfully. Overanalyzing can lead to paralysis, while impulsiveness can result in mistakes. The author's advice to learn to think in probabilities, not certainties, is especially helpful here. By assessing the likelihood of various outcomes, you can make informed choices without being overly attached to a single result. Chapter 16. Collect mental models. When faced with complex decisions, wouldn't it be great to have a mental toolkit that helps you simplify, clarify, and act with confidence? That's what mental models are. Frameworks that make decision-making easier and more effective. The author describes mental models as the fundamental building blocks of rational thinking. They're drawn from fields like economics, psychology, and science, and they allow us to identify patterns, predict outcomes, and navigate complexity with greater ease. For example, consider the concept of opportunity cost from economics. This mental model reminds us that every choice we make comes with a trade-off, the value of what we're giving up. Another is the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, which helps us focus on the small percentage of tasks or activities that produce the majority of results. To use mental models effectively, the author suggests studying key frameworks from a variety of disciplines. Build a personal library of models and practice applying them to real-world problems. For example, if you're deciding how to allocate your time, think about opportunity cost. If you're tackling a complex problem, break it down using first principles thinking. The more mental models you master, the better equipped you'll be to handle challenges and make sound decisions. Chapter 17. Learn to love to read. Next, let's talk about reading, one of the most valuable habits you can develop. The author emphasizes that reading is a gateway to knowledge, wisdom, and personal growth. Books allow us to learn from the experiences and insights of others, often condensing decades of wisdom into a few hours of reading. The author advises, read what you love until you love to read. This is key. Reading shouldn't feel like a chore. Instead of forcing yourself to follow trends or read what others recommend, focus on books that genuinely interest you. Maybe it's science fiction, self-development, history, or biographies, whatever sparks your curiosity. The more you enjoy what you're reading, the more likely you are to develop a lifelong habit. To integrate reading into your daily life, start small. Even just a few minutes a day can make a difference. Keep a list of books or topics you're excited about And don't be afraid to explore diverse genres and authors. The author encourages us to read widely because exposing yourself to new ideas and perspectives helps you grow in ways you might not expect. Ultimately, reading isn't just about gaining knowledge. It's about expanding your worldview and deepening your understanding of life. Chapter 18. Happiness is Learned. Let's explore one of the author's most profound lessons. Happiness is not an innate trait, but a skill we can cultivate. He explains that happiness comes from within. It's not something we achieve through external success or material wealth. Instead, it's a learned behavior, shaped by our mindset and habits. The author puts it simply: happiness is a choice you make and a skill you develop. A key part of this lesson is letting go of unnecessary desires. The author describes desire as a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Instead of chasing endless wants, focus on what truly matters and practice gratitude for the things you already have. This shift in mindset helps create a sustainable sense of contentment. To cultivate happiness, the author suggests mindfulness practices like meditation, which help us stay present and appreciate the moment. Gratitude is another powerful tool. Take time each day to reflect on the positive aspects of your life. By focusing on internal contentment rather than external rewards, you can create a deep and lasting sense of peace and happiness. Chapter 19. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is not something that happens to us. It's something we choose. The author emphasizes that happiness requires effort, self-awareness, and a deliberate shift in perspective. External circumstances like wealth, success, or relationships have far less influence on our happiness than we might think. Instead, it's our internal mindset that determines how fulfilled we feel. As the author puts it, a happy person isn't someone in a certain set of circumstances, but rather someone with a certain set of attitudes. So, what does choosing happiness look like? It means letting go of negativity and consciously embracing a positive outlook. Even in challenging situations, we can reframe our experiences to focus on the lessons and opportunities they provide. The author reminds us that happiness is a state where nothing is missing. In other words, it's about appreciating what we have rather than longing for what we don't. To apply this in your life, take responsibility for your emotions instead of blaming external factors. Choose to engage in activities that align with your values and bring you joy. Whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion, or simply taking a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. Happiness is a choice we make every day. Chapter 20. Happiness requires presence. The second key to happiness is presence. The author points out that being fully present in the moment is essential for experiencing true joy. Often, we let distractions or worries about the past and future rob us of the happiness available right now. He reminds us, the present moment is all you ever have. If we can't find happiness here and now, we won't find it anywhere else. Being present means letting go of regrets and anxieties and focusing on what's in front of you. Whether you're spending time with loved ones, working on a project, or enjoying a quiet walk, immersing yourself fully in the moment enhances both mindfulness and happiness. The author also warns that excessive distractions, like constant screen time or multitasking, pull us away from this state of presence. To cultivate presence, practice mindfulness techniques like deep breathing or meditation. Limit the distractions in your environment. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Create tech-free spaces, or carve out time for uninterrupted focus. Regularly engage in activities that ground you in the moment, such as taking a walk in nature or enjoying a meal without distractions. By living in the present, you'll find peace and fulfillment in life's simplest pleasures. Chapter 21. Happiness requires peace. Happiness is deeply tied to peace of mind. The author explains that unresolved conflicts, both internal and external, disrupt our well-being and prevent us from experiencing true joy. Achieving peace involves letting go of anger, resentment, and stress. As the author beautifully puts it, a peaceful mind is a happy mind. Peace requires simplifying your life, reducing unnecessary drama, resolving conflicts promptly, and creating a harmonious environment. This doesn't mean avoiding challenges, but rather approaching them with clarity and calm. The author suggests that the less we want, the more peaceful we become. When we free ourselves from endless desires, we create space for contentment. To bring more peace into your life, start by resolving conflicts rather than letting them fester. Whether it's forgiving someone who hurt you or addressing misunderstandings directly, clearing the air creates emotional clarity. Simplify your schedule and declutter your surroundings to reduce stress. Finally, practice activities that promote calm, such as yoga, journaling, or spending time in quiet reflection. Chapter 22. Every desire is a chosen unhappiness. The author introduces a thought-provoking idea. Every desire creates a gap between the present moment and a future expectation, and that gap can lead to dissatisfaction. Desires are self-imposed conditions for happiness. Until we fulfill them, we often feel like something is missing. The author captures this perfectly when he says, "Desire is suffering." The more we focus on what we think we need or want, the harder it becomes to appreciate what we already have. Letting go of unnecessary desires is key to finding peace. For instance, instead of constantly striving for the latest gadget or a bigger house, consider practicing gratitude for the things you already own. The author also emphasizes the value of minimalism, not just in material possessions, but in our thoughts. A clutter-free mind and lifestyle can reduce distractions and help us focus on what truly matters. To put this into action, start by reflecting on your current desires. Ask yourself, do these wants truly serve my long-term happiness? Practice contentment by regularly appreciating what you already have. Finally, embrace a minimalist mindset. Simplify your life by reducing excess possessions and mental clutter. This approach not only promotes inner peace, but creates space for genuine joy. Chapter 23. Success does not earn happiness. We often assume that achieving success will automatically bring happiness. But the author challenges this belief, explaining that external achievements, while satisfying in the short term, don't guarantee lasting fulfillment. He notes, happiness is not something you achieve, it is something you become. In other words, true contentment comes from within, not from ticking off societal milestones. Many successful people still struggle with unhappiness, despite their accomplishments. Why? Because happiness is not tied to material wealth or external validation. It requires mastering your internal state of mind. The author encourages us to prioritize personal well-being and self-awareness over chasing societal markers of success. To apply this wisdom, shift your focus toward internal growth rather than external rewards. Set goals that align with your values and bring you joy, even if they don't align with societal expectations. Reflect regularly on your achievements, but don't just celebrate the outcomes. Appreciate the journey and the growth it brings. This mindset allows you to find fulfillment regardless of external circumstances. Chapter 24. Envy is the enemy of happiness. The third principle we'll discuss is envy, which the author describes as a destructive emotion that undermines happiness. Comparing yourself to others creates dissatisfaction and resentment, making it harder to appreciate your own progress. The author puts it plainly. The easiest way to be unhappy is to compare yourself to others. Envy often stems from external triggers like social media, where we're constantly exposed to curated versions of other people's lives. This can make it seem like we're falling behind, even when we're doing well. The author encourages focusing on your unique journey instead of measuring yourself against others. By doing so, you can cultivate self-acceptance and peace. To combat envy, start by limiting exposure to social media or other triggers that spark comparisons. Reflect on your personal milestones and progress rather than someone else's achievements. Finally, learn to celebrate others' successes without letting them affect your self-worth. When you focus on your own growth and path, envy fades, making room for gratitude and happiness. Chapter 25. Happiness is built by habits. Happiness isn't just a fleeting emotion. It's the result of consistent habits and practices. The author emphasizes that daily routines, like practicing gratitude, mindfulness, and exercise, are the building blocks of long-term well-being. He puts it beautifully. Happiness is a choice made daily through habits and discipline. It's about creating small, intentional actions that compound over time to support mental clarity, emotional resilience, and physical health. Imagine starting your day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. This simple practice can shift your mindset, helping you focus on the positive aspects of your life. Pair that with physical activity, which boosts your energy and reduces stress, and mindfulness exercises, which enhance focus and emotional stability. These habits together create a foundation for lasting happiness. The author reminds us that your daily routine is a reflection of your long-term happiness. To build this, start by establishing routines that promote peace and balance, like a consistent morning ritual that sets a positive tone for the day or an evening practice to unwind. These habits are more than tasks. They're investments in your overall well-being. Chapter 26. Find happiness in acceptance. The next step toward happiness is acceptance. The author explains that much of our unhappiness comes from resisting reality, wishing things were different instead of acknowledging them as they are. He says, happiness is the absence of desire for change in the moment. When we resist what we cannot control, we create unnecessary frustration and stress. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing life's imperfections and uncertainties and working with them instead of against them. For instance, when a project doesn't go as planned, accepting the outcome allows you to focus on the next step instead of being stuck in frustration. The author emphasizes that the more you resist reality, the more pain you create for yourself. To cultivate acceptance, practice acknowledging situations you cannot control and reflect on how uncertainty can lead to growth and learning. Focus on adapting to challenges instead of fighting them. This mindset frees you from unnecessary struggle and creates mental clarity, allowing you to direct your energy toward what truly matters. Chapter 27. Choosing to be yourself. Let's talk about authenticity. The author emphasizes that being true to yourself is a cornerstone of happiness and fulfillment. He says, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. When we try to conform to societal expectations or seek external validation, we often lose touch with our own values and desires. This leads to dissatisfaction and inner conflict. Authenticity means aligning your actions and decisions with your core values. It's about letting go of the need to impress others and focusing on living according to your principles. The author notes, authenticity is the only way to escape competition and find true freedom. By embracing your uniqueness, you gain confidence and peace of mind. To put this into practice, take time to reflect on your core values. Are your actions and decisions aligned with them? Avoid seeking validation from others. What matters most is living in harmony with your beliefs. Use your uniqueness as a strength, both personally and professionally, to create a life that feels genuine and fulfilling. Chapter 28. Choosing to care for yourself. Self-care is the foundation of a healthy and balanced life. The author makes it clear that taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. He reminds us, you can't pour from an empty cup. Prioritize your well-being. When we neglect our physical, mental, and emotional health, it often leads to burnout, unhappiness, and decreased effectiveness in all areas of life. Caring for yourself means making time to nurture your well-being without guilt. This could involve regular exercise, nourishing meals, quality sleep, or simply setting aside moments to relax. The author emphasizes the importance of creating boundaries to protect your time and energy from unnecessary stressors. By doing so, you not only improve your own quality of life, but also show up better for others and your goals. To put this into action, start by developing a self-care routine tailored to your needs. Make physical activity, healthy eating, and rest non-negotiable parts of your day. Set boundaries to limit distractions and protect your energy, whether that's saying no to excessive commitments or scheduling downtime for yourself. Regularly check in with your well-being and adjust your habits to maintain balance. Chapter 29. Meditation Plus. Mental Strength. The next lesson focuses on meditation as a tool for building mental clarity, focus, and resilience. The author describes meditation as intermittent fasting for the mind, a practice that allows you to clear mental clutter and find peace. Regular meditation reduces stress, improves decision-making, and enhances emotional strength, helping you respond thoughtfully to life's challenges. Meditation isn't just about sitting quietly, it's about cultivating mindfulness and self-awareness. This practice helps you align your actions with your values by creating space to reflect and refocus. A calm and focused mind, the author says, is the foundation of a happy life. Whether you're managing stress, seeking clarity, or simply looking to improve your concentration, meditation offers powerful benefits. If you're new to meditation, start small. Even a few minutes a day can make a difference. Experiment with mindfulness techniques like focused breathing to manage stress in real time. Explore different meditation styles, such as guided meditations or walking meditations, to find what works best for you. Over time, these practices build mental discipline and contribute to a more peaceful, balanced life. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 30. Choosing to Build Yourself. Let's talk about personal growth. The author emphasizes that self-improvement isn't a destination, it's a lifelong journey. He reminds us, your growth is your responsibility. By continuously building skills and knowledge, you not only expand your opportunities, but also increase your confidence and ability to navigate challenges. Investing in yourself yields the highest long-term returns. Whether it's learning a new skill, taking a course, or reading widely, every step you take toward growth enhances your potential. The author encourages us to view personal development as an ongoing process, one that requires intention and effort. To make growth a priority, set aside time for self-education. Maybe that's dedicating an hour a week to learning something new or reading books that inspire you. Regularly evaluate areas in your life where improvement is needed and take actionable steps to address them. Surround yourself with people who challenge and support your growth, mentors, friends, or colleagues who inspire you to reach new heights. Chapter 31. Choosing to Grow Yourself. Growth and comfort don't go hand in hand. The author reminds us that stepping out of our comfort zones is essential for personal development. Growth requires embracing challenges and being willing to fail. But here's the key. Failure isn't something to fear. The author reframes it, saying, failure is feedback, not defeat. It's through these experiences that we learn, adapt, and build resilience. Growth often feels uncomfortable, but that's where transformation happens. Think about a time when you took on something challenging, maybe learning a new skill or tackling a tough project. While it might have been difficult, it likely made you stronger, more capable, and better prepared for future opportunities. To put this into practice, challenge yourself regularly to step outside your comfort zone. Reflect on your past failures and consider what lessons they've taught you. Set growth-oriented goals that push you to unlock your full potential. Remember, every challenge you embrace adds another layer to your strength and adaptability. Chapter 32. Choosing to Free Yourself. Freedom is one of life's ultimate goals, according to the author. True freedom isn't just about financial independence. It's also about freeing yourself from societal expectations and self-imposed limitations. The author emphasizes that freedom is the ultimate wealth, but it doesn't come without effort. Discipline is the foundation of freedom because it enables you to make intentional choices that align with your values. Freedom often requires questioning the norms and expectations that no longer serve you. For example, are there societal pressures that influence your decisions, even when they don't align with your authentic self? By letting go of these constraints, you create space for a life that's truly your own. To work toward freedom, start by focusing on financial independence, which gives you more choices and flexibility in life. Evaluate areas where external expectations may be limiting your decisions, and take intentional steps to break free. Finally, develop habits of self-discipline to create the structure needed to live a life of freedom and authenticity. As the author says, discipline equals freedom. Chapter 33. The Meanings of Life. Let's explore the idea of life's meaning. The author explains that the meaning of life is deeply personal. There's no universal answer, and each of us must define it for ourselves. He says, the meaning of life is the meaning you give it. For some, it might be growth and learning. For others, it could be building relationships or contributing to a cause larger than themselves. Meaning is closely tied to fulfillment and happiness, but it requires intentional choices. It's about aligning your daily actions with your values and priorities. The author suggests that when we focus on what truly fulfills us, whether that's personal development, meaningful relationships, or purposeful work, our lives gain significance. To discover your own meaning, take time to reflect on what brings you fulfillment. Align your goals with those values, and focus on building relationships or contributing to causes that resonate with your purpose. Regularly reassess your direction in life to ensure it aligns with your evolving priorities. By doing this, you'll find greater clarity and fulfillment in your journey. Chapter 34. Live by your values. Living by your values is one of the most effective ways to cultivate inner peace and authenticity. The author emphasizes that aligning your actions with your core beliefs fosters integrity and clarity. When your thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony, you create a life that feels true to who you are. He puts it succinctly: integrity is the alignment of thought, word, and action. Compromising your values, even for external rewards like money or recognition, often leads to dissatisfaction. Imagine agreeing to something that conflicts with your principles. While it might seem beneficial in the moment, it often creates inner conflict and regret. The author encourages us to clarify our values and use them as a compass for navigating decisions and challenges. To start, take some time to identify your core values and write them down. Use this list as a guide whenever you're faced with important decisions. Avoid situations or commitments that require compromising your integrity. And finally, regularly reflect on your actions to ensure they align with your principles. As the author says, live your values and you will live a life of peace. Chapter 35. Rational Buddhism. Next, let's explore a concept the author calls rational Buddhism, a philosophy that blends mindfulness with practical, rational thinking. The idea is to live with clarity and balance by letting go of attachments and practicing non-judgment. The author explains, happiness is accepting what is and letting go of what you think should be. This approach encourages us to remain engaged with life's process without being overly fixated on specific outcomes. Rational Buddhism focuses on the present moment, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with calm and purpose. By integrating rational thinking into emotional situations, we can make better decisions and maintain peace of mind. For example, if a plan doesn't go as expected, instead of becoming frustrated, we can detach from the desired outcome and focus on what can still be achieved. To apply this, practice mindfulness by staying grounded in the present moment without judgment. When faced with setbacks, work on releasing attachments to specific outcomes while staying committed to your efforts. Lastly, approach emotional situations with a rational mindset. Ask yourself what's truly within your control and focus your energy there. This balanced perspective fosters both clarity and peace. Chapter 36. The present is all we have. Finally, let's focus on the power of the present moment. The author reminds us, the present is all you ever have. Make it your friend. Much of our suffering stems from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When we focus on regrets or anxieties, we rob ourselves of the joy and fulfillment available right now. Living fully in the present allows us to experience happiness and peace. For instance, think about a time when you were completely absorbed in an activity, whether it was a conversation, a creative project, or a walk in nature. That sense of flow comes from being fully engaged in the here and now. The author warns, regret and worry are thieves of the present, reminding us that these distractions only take away from our current experiences. To cultivate presence, practice daily mindfulness exercises, such as deep breathing or meditation, to anchor yourself in the moment. When you notice your thoughts drifting to the past or future, gently redirect them to the present. Finally, immerse yourself in activities by focusing on the sensations, emotions, and experiences they bring. The more you connect with the present, the more you'll find peace and fulfillment.